Hi everyone, bonjour à tous. Welcome to Mom's Hot Method, redefining hotness for the mother's gaze, making motherhood the growth hack experience you were looking for. Hi everyone, I'm Mathilde and this is Ricky. Welcome to the Mom's Hot Method, a podcast when we are together and with you, redefining what's hotness for the mother's gaze and most importantly for the woman that maybe one day want to become a mom, the woman that is already a mom, the woman that wants a podcast that's going to uplift her, make motherhood a growth hack, and the mom that doesn't really want to give away anything, the moms that want it all and all at the same time, maybe a bit chaotic, maybe not exactly what you expected, but definitely uplifting, warm and hot. And we felt with Ricky that we had to even address the topic of hotness. Why did we decide to call it Mom's Hot? It is not a judgment. It is not physical. It is actually a pun on the thread of on the trend around hot moms. That's been a lot. Like, there's been like this models like having this T-shirts with "I love hot moms," and we just want to twist the narrative and say moms hot per se. And then what you put behind hot is your definition. What equal hot for you is your decision. And to me, it is the most empowering thing, knowing that, coming out of the hospital with like a nappy on felt so fucking hot, never felt better in my life. Yeah. And that's what it is to me being, a mom. Meaning that what I decide is uplifting is my decision. I decided that motherhood will be uplifting, empowering, and messy yet cool in a way.
Yeah.
That's what we are bringing. So
I think for me also, like how I sit down and like curate my feed, and how obsessed I am to make everything look very beautiful on Instagram, but then you sit there with like poop all over your trouser and it's not the same as it looks on Instagram. And I think this is a place where we can kind of, or especially for me, to show that other part of, I'm maybe not that kind of mom who wants to film my baby's nappies, but it's something here I feel like I can show another side of myself, because when you go onto my Instagram, it's not very messy mom, I would say. So it's I think, and that's something hot about that, like or I think it is, when I'm kind of doing this, which is something I really love, to like curate my feed and do pictures beautifully, but then it's like I have milk all over me, or like my boobs are leaking, and of course that's something hot about that.
I think it's definitely something hot about that. And I think at the end of the day, everything is, I love this quote in my 20s, really empowering. Nothing is embarrassing unless you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
Nothing is not hot unless you don't have, an attitude about it that is making you like truly empowered. And I think to me, motherhood per se is hot.
Yeah.
I think that's the hottest things we can do. I do believe though that a lot of things get in the way of hotness when it's come to motherhood, like guilt, judgment, and I think that's what we want to do in this podcast. We want to tell you that like just being free of any guilt, free of other people's judgment, and I feel like for us to sit down on that couch and coming with quite a bold title to the podcast, Mom's
Very
Hot,
bold.
was hard. It was a conversation and a lot of back and forth, and even with like an hour before, with like, should we rename it? Are people gonna be alienated by it? But I think at the end of the day, it is also what women needs to hear, and mothers. You're not gonna be the perfect mom for everyone. You're not gonna be everything to everyone.
No.
People who want to judge will still judge you, whether you're
It will
doing.
always be mom shaming and mom judging, but even in 50 years ahead than it was 100 years ago. Like that's sadly a bit a part of it.
It's a human trait, and women are guilty of it, and that's okay. But my point is, if you let go of people's judgments, and especially as a mom, moms love commenting on other people's motherhood, from your mother-in-law to your friends. But to me, the most empowering thing is just to let them.
Yeah.
I know what's hot for me. It's not what's hot for you.
Yeah.
It's not hot for my sister. But
and it's not like one recipe of how how to be a mother. And I think that's something that's like every mother should keep in mind. Like all mothers are differently, everyone does it differently because all the babies are also different. Like it's not, there's not an app or a book that tells you how you should be a mother.
And I
Even
think
though there are many out there.
there are many, but they're all like, I think they're all like a key, but they can't open all the doors. They
No.
might like, you know, like do one, they might help you in a way, and then like, you know, you'll find another method, and you know, and also you learn how to play with your kids quite literally. Like what's true for my daughters, I don't feel is true for yours or for my friends. And I think the only thing that we need to let go as mom is, I think we need to be more humble. And I personally listen to my friends, don't judge what they do. Nevertheless, you know, sometimes feel a bit judged about the way I parent.
I think all mothers does that. Like,
and it's okay. But the thing is, I really, the more freeing thing is to let them.
Yeah.
And you just look at your kids. And I was on actually this morning thinking, okay, like how can we define hot? And this is like what I came up with as a drawing. Voila. So this is a bit like of a twist, like a very weird shaped circle, but imagine it's a circle. So this is mom's comforts and happiness. And this is the kid comfort and happiness. And this is, to me, that's the hot zone. I don't know if you can see it, but between the mom's comfort and happiness and the kid's comfort and happiness, this is the hotness zone.
Yeah.
Anything you do here is hot. And, you know, I don't think anyone should have to lose themselves in order for someone else to be happy. And it also works in motherhood. I think a lot of moms are, oh, I want my kids to be happy, so I'm gonna go above and beyond and lose myself. Well, if you lose yourself, your kids will not follow. If you're not happy, your kids will match this sort of like
reflects on the kid. I think like it's like happy mom, happy baby, and it's the so
it is exactly that. It's your kids at the end of the day, they need, you know, they need food, they need sleep. But most importantly, they need love. And if you don't love yourself and you don't put a, you know, very high energy around them, if you're stressed, and that's also the whole thing that I have with routine. Routine is the mean towards an end. A routine is there to help your kids.
Yeah.
You're not meant to follow the routine for the sake of the routine. If it doesn't work, then what your kids need is, you know, just like the very basic human necessities: eating, sleeping, being loved,
feeling the
happy,
closeness of like warm, but like
one body.
Yeah.
And most importantly, they do need mom to be balanced and have an element of inner peace. If mom is totally lost in juggling everything and she looks exhausted and stressed and sleep deprived, it's just like the kids are going to be anxious.
Yeah. And I think like the babies, if you're anxious yourself, like, or I can say for myself, if I've been stressed, I can feel that my babies get stressed as well, because they can feel the energy of how you're in a situation and being stressed. And then they really take from us and how we, what kind of energy we have that day.
And how you treat yourself as well.
Yeah.
If you're the mom that never looks after herself, most likely your kids will not be prioritizing their own self. Like, because they haven't seen it, so they won't be able to mimic.
Yeah.
It's so important to show them. Actually, funny enough, before I became a mom, I looked very little after myself, because I was like, yeah, you know, like I was a bit nerdy. I loved working so much. That I was like, oh, I can just hang out in my sweatpants. But now I have 2 daughters, so I lead by example.
Yeah.
So,
and also you want to be healthy and strong to be able to take care of them and have like a long life together. And you want to like, I'm more scared in a way that something's gonna happen, because you want your daughters or your children to have a mother and father and a healthy life.
Yeah. So I think like kids actually give you this sort of like discipline to look after yourself, because you're a model for them. So if you go around like, you know, not caring at all. They'll see it. It's you're your kids normal.
Yeah.
So if they see mommy like, not never taking 5 minutes for themselves, then like they will carry on and not never ever prioritizing their energy.
Yeah.
Like
You have
you
to
know,
lead as a good example. I think that's on every aspect of being a parent. Like, for example, like being careful with being on the phone, maybe. And
Totally.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you want? Yeah, some parents. That's actually another one. Like some parents are like, "Oh, my kids are always on the phone," but so are you.
Yeah.
Number one, or like, "Oh, my kids are so stressed." I'm like, "Well, so are you as well," which is okay. But
And
just
see,
like it's
again,
common
like
sense.
the energy goes over to the kid. Like if you're a stressed person, I feel like they have kids that are kind of a bit stressed because it's like that's the environment you're used to.
Another point that we wanted to discuss, just like as this episode 0, is who are we? What do we do? And what are sort of like, what is the frame of reference? How are we able to work and have kids? And I think for me, it's extremely important to understand that, if you want to be a mom and you want to work, most likely you're going to have to like get out of a male made corporate, or even like female led, but where the woman was like actually not sort of empowering moms. I'm explaining. I used to be a lawyer and having women and an M&A lawyer, and I used to see women in their 40s when I was like early 20s, like mid 20s, not having kids, being exhausted, like having no balance, and actually not even making it through the partnership track, because the second they were like even mentioning, oh, maybe I want to have a kid, then they were actually, we put in France like just like set aside, and we say in French like put in a closet, which means like just like put it aside and not actually progressing into the corporate jungle. So I looked at that, and I come from a background of, motherhood is really important in my cultural frame, and I always knew I wanted to be a mom. So I looked at it. I was really entrepreneurial, and I felt, okay, like I'm gonna make an environment that will enable me to thrive. And this morning I was at a talk at Selfridges, and the journalist said, I think we all have a business idea in us.
Yeah.
And the difference, like, are we daring? And we were saying,
Especially if you're working in a creative environment and you're a creative person.
and a business, like, the thing is, if you want freedom, most likely you're gonna have to seek it and like chase it and then make everything. It wasn't easy to see, like, the journey until now wasn't easy. I was born in like a very, like, in a small town in France. Everything that I did it with the purpose of being free.
Yeah.
I value my freedom. It's also like important to say that, when you want to have it all at the same times, like I want to see my kids and I want to have a business and I want to be a spouse and a friend, it means I also get really little time to rest. And I sometimes envy my friends who have a corporate job and get 4 or 5 weeks holidays where they
Yeah.
can tune out. So I think to me, what is the most important is love and truth. And
Yeah.
if you're truthful and lovable, if you're telling your girlfriend, hell, girls, like, it looks like I'm having it all, but actually, sometimes I want to cry and be like, oh, fuck, like I haven't had a holiday since 2013.
Because you're never off.
Never off. So I think nothing, and that's the problem, I think, nowadays with the Instagram life, but not like, it's not describing a true like reality. It is only the best moment, and
Yeah.
you have girls like you that say it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, that's not real life, it's the best moment, it's a curation of
But
beautiful
I'm not
pictures.
so good at saying it on Instagram that this is not my real life. But I think it's just I've chosen a path on Instagram where it's like I want to be private. I want it to be beautiful, created, and I kind of. But
But I think anything with a brain, understand that it's like that's not what you're about.
Yeah.
You don't pretend at all that it, like, you're posting to me, and that's what I told you the other day. Is like, to me, I look at your feed the same way that I go and see an exhibition. I want beauty. I'm seeking for peace, quiet, and beauty. Okay, I'm not going there to get an
But I
advice
can
on how to make a
understand
salad.
that I piss people off when you have 2 small babies and you kind of never show any of the mess. But that's like, I chose that path, and that's where I want to stand on that kind of platform. And then I feel like this is where I can be maybe a bit more open about it. But I
Yeah.
think it's like people, before I became a mother, like people followed me, I feel maybe for more like the fashion and the aesthetics more, and that's the path I still want to continue doing, which is like, I think when you're a content creator, you have to be true to yourself and choose which way you wanna. You cannot, of course, you have to adapt the lifestyle you're changing into, but it has to also be true to what you,
Who you are.
yeah,
I
and
think
where
in
you
general,
grew
you need
as
to be
a,
true to who you are.
yeah,
And that's also the thing. I also feel like as women, we always want to be perfect, judgment free. And I also believe, like, you know, women, I was reading this article the other day where, you know, it was saying women are judged, full stop.
Yeah.
Whether they breastfeed or they don't, or whether they carry on working or they don't, or they get
don't
married or
work
they do
and-
not. Then
yeah.
they're witches, you know, they stay like.
I mean, there's many moms who just wants to also be home and be a mom, which is like beautiful with that also. Like, we get judged if you want to work, and you get judged if you want to stay home and be with your
Yeah.
baby. It's just like, you
But
can
is it?
almost
I
never
think
do
it's
it.
a us problem. I think it's a us problem. I think the second you like actually realize that actually people who hate will always hate. People who judge have probably nothing better to do. Sorry. And I actually was saying the other day, you know, like I let go of judgment a long time ago. I don't judge people. I don't judge myself. And it feels like, you know, I had a haha moment where a woman said, you know, in a podcast about raising your frequency, whatever, and she was just saying, let your inner judge Judy rest.
Yeah.
Fuck hell. Like, because the problem is judgment is a pattern. If you walk in the street and say, oh, this one is like this, and French people are excellent at it. Because we think we invented taste. So everyone was like, not exactly
did,
how
though.
we think. Well, we did, but not as a prison. Get out. Like, appreciate everyone. And what really changed my life is anytime I meet someone, I try and focus on the light in that person. So I see the lights in the person and I choose not to see the things that are not maybe my taste, but then I learn something.
Yeah.
So when I see you, actually we're very different, but what I get out of it is, okay, I'm 80% chaos, but then 20% of the time I actually also need stillness, and I look at your feed and I listen to you. Seriously. And I call you and I'm like, what would Ricky do? And
But then I send you WhatsApp pictures of my poo all over and like, yeah, this is me now, sorry.
But that's also that I'm not fooled by a social media. I know you. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I actually value the job. You know, I was telling you the other day. It's like it's a human need to have like poetic, a level of like
It's my kind of meditation, you know. It's like,
you're
just-
making beauty out of everyday situations. To save my life, I can never capture the same content that like we're seeing the same scene. But Ricky will take a picture, it's gonna look gorge, and I'm gonna take a picture and it looks like mess. So I think we need to embrace our unique flavor, what we have to put in the universe. And I think you, it's like I just think you're good at creating beautiful images, and I'm great at giving. The other day someone told me, it's nice because you're strong, but in the meantime you're empowering.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And you're a doer.
And
as
I'm a
I
doer.
always
And I'm a
say
doer.
to you.
And I'm a
You're
doer.
my doer friend.
I am a doer, and I love
She
it.
makes things happen.
Exactly. And I find it very hard actually, being that person who's like, okay, let's do it, you know, like let's follow an idea that we have and we feel would be useful, and to like maybe like close down this episode 0. I think what we want this podcast to be first and foremost is being useful. We can't be everything to everyone, so if you find if you find what we have to say like unrelatable, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think
And we will
take
maybe
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also we will also maybe say some weird stuff, but that's why we're here. We just like want to feel everyone is, I don't know, it's we might step wrong, but we want to just
Be real.
be real and inspire people in
And just
our
show
own way.
another, there are a lot of podcasts out there. Like, I believe that the best thing that I've done in my life is becoming a mom. I believe that the best thing that I do is being a working mom. I think I'm able to juggle. I believe that with my team, being a mom made me a better manager. I believe that with the brands that I look after, I'm actually, by being a mom, I'm better because I understand you can't hurry love. I give brand the time to all the energy, but also the time to to blossom.
Yeah.
When men don't understand anything about beauty and about like, you know, activewear and with fashion, for example, but if they invest in a company, they're going to be like, oh, you need to like, you know, squeeze the cost. And it doesn't matter if the legging it ends up being like awful. That's like actually what I think women we bring in the
But I think
in
also
the game. We care.
becoming a mom, you get a new understanding for other women, and like I see if I work with brands that are they are like mothers themselves, and you're like, sorry, for example, the other day I was shooting a job and I was like, I'm gonna send it over, and then I didn't send it until 2 days after, and I was like, sorry, but I was home with two girls and like I didn't have any time. And then just getting the feedback, the woman was like, oh, I really know the feeling and don't say sorry. And it's just having that kind of love back on something where you feel like you have disappointed someone. It's just, I think it's we get a new kind of understanding for each other.
I really do. I think it's like being a mom connects you with like your soft side.
Yeah.
It goes with yourself. I've never been softer with myself. Doesn't mean that I don't work as hard, but it means that, wow.
You just work hard in another way, I think.
You work hard in another way, but also like I'm kinder to myself. I'm like, you know what? Like this is it.
Me too.
Today that is it. And but because again, I think the most important thing that motherhood does to you is unconditional love. And when you've experienced unconditional love, meaning that I want my kids to be successful, but that's not the reason I'm gonna love them. I love them because
nothing else matter when you're kind of
and it's like you don't condition the love you give them. Like I keep saying, I love my daughter. I think they are beautiful, of course. But I keep saying, you know, and if you were ugly, that wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? It's like, so when you experience this type of love, then I feel even with yourself, you stop being so harsh. You stop judging yourself. And for me, that's when the real growth comes. You start doing things from a place of love and not from a place of validation, or you're just starting to be your true self. And I think that's something super empowering.
And you get a new meaning of life after or especially for me, I got a new meaning of life after I became a mom.
And I feel like, you know, this is something that like the first wave of feminism would say it is essentializing. Is that how you say this? Essentializing? What? Yeah. Essentializing woman. It's like saying that, you know, a woman is meant to be a mom is, you know, anti-feminist. Fine. For those that, you know, in my frame of reference, it's not. I let everyone else in their own frame of reference, but for me and my feeling, I believe are valid. The same way that like all the women, I don't want to be ashamed of saying that, it gave me meaning. And I have a lot of other friends who say, well, it gave me meaning. And if it doesn't for someone else, great for them. That's the thing. I think we need to be way less offended and way more understanding.
And not expect everyone expect everyone to feel the same as you feel. Like
it's so important. And also because I think if we're all the same, it's super boring. You stop learning. And I was actually reading this quote the other day saying the narcissistic seek the same. When actually I love having girlfriends who tell me, oh fuck, like I can't stay with my kids, I'm going nuts, like all I want is to go back to the office. I love it. I'm like, okay, what am I learning from this? That maybe, and you know what? I had this type of friends the other day.
Twisting it again, like with.
And it brings me a bit more, like, you know, into my balance. Okay, I've given a bit too much to the kids. So on Saturday, after spending a full day of a friend who told me how amazing it was to spend a full day with herself, it's like, you know what? Let's do it. I took a half day. With myself, not carrying, like. So I just feel like we should not try and like make everyone agree with your way, and we should just focus on our home. And everyone focus on their home. And if everyone is doing something that works, then, like, you know, accumulation of happy houses makes a very happy society.
And I think in general, just be a bit more open-minded to other moms.
And let your judgy rest. Like, honestly, don't judge yourself and don't judge other moms. Judgment free is, to me, and also that really enables true friendship, I feel. And that's it for today. And thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Our love language is to share good tips with other good moms. So if you like it, share it with your mom friends or for the women in your life that might want to be moms and might need a tip or two.